Hi friends, welcome to Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I'm at currently. I decided to take a little solo trip here to Nashville because I needed to escape LA and kind of reset myself for the new year, get inspiration, and what better place than Nashville. I've been here before, more than a decade ago, but I'm sure a lot has changed, but this is a proper trip, a full week of just discovering the city. But when I do go to a new city, I do love to find good coffee and good vintage, and I think that's what I'm gonna be up to today. I'm gonna do that right now. It's the morning and I have a full day ahead of me, so let's just get to it. I decided to walk to breakfast. It was a nice stroll through a charming historic neighborhood. Along the way, I got to admire festive holiday decor and passed by a couple cute old churches. I decided on Buttermilk Ranch for breakfast. The spot is a bit overhyped in my opinion. The food was just okay and didn't quite feel worth the price. However, the service was excellent and the Christmas decor inside was super fun. The festive vibe was a nice way to kick off my morning. I didn't have much luck at the first couple stores, but then I got to Gas Lamp Antiques and they had some fun stuff to look at. For the last store I stopped by, I had a lot of fun. They had a houseware section and clothing. I was trying to find a souvenir and found these dead stock Tennessee vintage shirts. I was trying to see what looked the best on me. The Rock City one was cute but way too small. Also found this cool little patch as I was leaving. After a full day of shopping, I'm finally back. It's 3 p.m. I started at 9, so I'm kind of tired by now. And the first two stores were kind of a bust. I kind of already knew walking into them. They're more on the thrift store side, so you kind of have to dig. And they definitely didn't have a lot of linens, both the stores. One of them had like a sewing tool. It was like a tailor's point, but I already own one of those and I'm not trying to bring back this big wooden block, but at least I found something of interest in the first one, but the other one was a bust. And then I ended up at this vintage store called Starland, and that was really good because it curated, so it was very colorful, very bright, more my vibe. So I definitely like that store the best, of course, because it is curated and it comes with the curated price, but I don't mind spending money on a well-curated item. And I ended up buying this cool little t-shirt that you saw me try on. It's a great souvenir for this trip. You know, I always like to pick up a souvenir, but I want it to be vintage. In New York, I picked up this vintage keychain and I thought that was really cute. So I try to, you know, keep the tradition alive. I got this little souvenir Tennessee shirt that I really like. And I also ended up picking up this little Leo patch. The one before that, I forgot to mention, was an antique mall and it was super cool, but this, again, there wasn't a lot of things for me to pick up, more like dishes and things like that, like housewares. There was like a pair of these orange chairs that I thought were really cool. But other than that, you know, no linens, nothing of my interest to pick up, and that's okay. I don't have a lot of room in my suitcase. I just like to look, you know, get inspiration. So that was my day of shopping. I probably won't venture off to those thrift stores anymore. Maybe just stick to these like curated clothing stores. But this one, Starland, had like a houseware kind of section, which I thought was really cool on top of their clothes. So really cool. They had a lot of dead stock, like vintage things, a lot of souvenir t-shirts, a lot of souvenir like knickknacks. Thought that was really cool and worth stopping by. So if you're in Nashville, definitely stop by that vintage store. It's definitely worth going to. But other than that, I'm pretty spent for the day. I'm thinking maybe I'll go, if I have the energy, to walk around Broadway where all the like crazy lights and the like honky tonks and stuff are. I'm probably not gonna go like to them. Maybe I'll stop into one, but I just want to look. I'm not really drinking, so I don't really need to go to the bar, but maybe just to get the energy. But I'm kind of dreading it because at the same time, I don't like crowds. So, and I know that's a crowded area, so we'll see how I feel. The sun's going down and I kind of want to catch it at that kind of right when it gets dark with the bright lights. So we'll see how I feel in a little bit. I'm just gonna rest for a little while and see if I have enough energy. Other than that, I'll probably save that for tomorrow. So last night ended a little interesting. I went and got myself a mocktail in this really kind of bougie, nice lounge bar. I really like that. Definitely nice for like a date or, you know, something like that. And I ended up getting dinner at Assembly Hall, and it was just so crazy packed that it was a little overwhelming. It took me forever to get my food and forever to find a seat even. And so I just kind of ended my night there. I didn't want to go to Broadway. It was just too crazy. I just saw the mounds of crowds heading that way and I didn't even want to deal. So I kind of just got my little salad and then went home. So today I plan to explore East Nashville. There's a cluster of vintage shops there that I see on the map. So right before I'll go get coffee and maybe a little snack and then head that way. But that's kind of my plan for today. And then maybe on my way back, depending on the time, maybe I'll stop by Broadway and just kind of peek my head in, snap a couple pics. I don't know. We'll see. It's the weekend now. It's Friday, so I'm sure it's even worse, the crowd. So we'll see how I feel. But East Nashville is kind of the area I'm gonna try to explore today. Let's go get coffee now.
I started the day with a coffee and a bagel sandwich. Nothing crazy special, but still very good. The customer service, very good. He complimented my jacket. Then headed to East Nashville Antique Mall. Spent a good chunk of time there. I found these vintage football stickers right away. Love watching football, so I picked these up. Lots of vintage Christmas since it was the season. Found this pretty little trim, but not enough for any project. These super cute ornaments. The paper clips on the skates are so clever. Love an upcycle. I had one of these stars on my tree growing up, so nostalgic. Then I found these vintage 70 bead necklaces. I couldn't choose, so I got both. Then I saw this Seattle mug and I had to get it since I'm from there. At this point, I needed a pick-me-up, so I got a coffee at Osa, which was probably the best tasting coffee from the whole entire trip. Before heading home, I got some noodles at Xiao Bao, which was really good, and I like the retro diner vibes.
So I'm back at my Airbnb and I'm just resting up. I'm trying to get the energy to go back out. I kind of had a late lunch, so I don't really want to get dinner, but maybe I'll get a snack or like a dessert or something and then walk around a little bit on Broadway. It's really cold outside, so I'm gonna bundle up, but I'm just trying to brace myself for the crowds. I know that area is gonna be super crowded because it is like a Friday evening, so I'm just trying to brace myself. I'll just make it quick. It's still kind of early, so it's not like the late night crowd. I'll just go find a dessert, maybe pop my head into a couple stores, or I'll see what's in the area and then head home and call it an early night. So last night was a little interesting. I kind of went in that Broadway area just to see it. I knew it was going to be crowded, so I spent very briefly in that area, got an ice cream, went home. Now it's the next day. I think I'm going to go to the Tennessee State Museum, do some of that, and then there's a farmer's market right next door. And then maybe I'll pop my head in Printer's Alley just to see it. If it's too crowded, I'll just walk along and go home. Today I'm gonna be more chill and just have a couple things, and if I do more things, so be it. But before I head to the museum, of course, I'll get some coffee and some breakfast.
My Airbnb was close to Vanderbilt University, so I liked walking through it whenever I had a chance. It's a pretty campus. I never went to a university, so it was nice to just cosplay as a student for a brief moment. Got a quick bite afterwards. Honestly, I don't eat this many heavy carbs, so I don't think I'm the best judge of all this, but it was good and the cold brew was really good. Decided to walk through Printer's Alley. It was pretty early in the morning, so no crowds. I feel like it's probably a better visual at night, of course, but it was a quick detour on my way to the museum. The museum was pretty quiet too. Only a handful of people, which I kind of like. You get to really take your time and look at all the things. Saw a really old quilt. Looking at the historic clothes is interesting. These were replicas, but I like to look at the details. Really old sewing tools too, and how people made clothing are always fun to look at. Also love looking at old graphics and publications. They did have some clothes from the 60s and other things from that era as well. Overall, a good museum to visit, and it's free to go to.
It's a little gloomy today and it's been drizzling, so I have an umbrella. Luckily, I plan to go to a couple antique malls today. That's really all I have energy for. Yesterday, I kind of called it an early day, just went to the museum and pretty much rested for the rest of the day, which I totally needed. And so today, just a couple antique malls. If I have the energy, I do want to go to this bluegrass venue, but I definitely have to have energy for that because it's in the evening and I want to at least stay for a few hours. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear, but we'll go and get some breakfast and some coffee first and then head to some antique malls.
I'm a big breakfast person, as you could see already, so this place has been on my list for a while. I went with your typical breakfast spread, but the real star was that biscuit. Definitely 10 out of 10. After breakfast, I ventured a little outside of Nashville to Goodlettsville, which is home to a couple antique malls. My first stop was Goodlettsville Antique Mall. It's pretty big with lots of interesting things to look at. I love the upholstery on this yellow couch, some inspiration for my cottagecore kitchen. This Boy Scout jacket was so cool with all the patches. Love it. I love just browsing random things. You just never know what might spark an idea. Next, I headed to Rare Birds Antique Mall. I spotted a familiar print. It's the same one I used for a shirt except in blue, and I couldn't resist admiring some of these vintage sewing machines. Why don't they make colorful machines like this anymore? I don't know. I also love this corner filled with cruels. I've been slowly collecting them myself. In the end, I picked up this adorable fruit tablecloth for a future project.
My trip is winding down here. I only have a couple more days, so today I really want to go to a coffee shop and do some journaling. I really haven't had time to do any of that. I want to do a little self-reflection and some goal settings for the next year. I've been kind of in that mood lately since the year is winding down, so it's the perfect time to kind of reflect and set some goals. The last thing I kind of want to check out is this antique mall. It's in the Grand Ole Opry area, so maybe after the antique mall I'll explore that area, maybe walk around. But other than that, just a couple things today. I think that's all I have the energy for, and we'll get some coffee, do some journaling, and then go shopping afterwards. It's my last day in Nashville. I've had a great time here. It's been a nice, relaxing trip, and today I just want to end it really chill like I've been doing. Breakfast, coffee, then head to the Parthenon, and that's pretty much it for today. Just a couple things. That's really all the energy I have for. It's been a great, relaxing trip, my first sober trip. I really wanted to experiment not drinking on this trip because that's one of my goals for next year. So I really wanted to experiment of how I felt, and I feel great. I feel rejuvenated and ready to get back to LA. I have some new ideas and just really refresh myself for the new year, and it's been a really good trip. So let's go get some coffee and breakfast and then head to the museum.
I'm finally heading home after such a peaceful and relaxing vacation. This trip gave me the space I needed to work on healing some of my feelings around Christmas. A few years ago, I went through a tragic event during the holidays, and it's been a challenge to find joy in the season again. I know it's a process and healing does take time, but I'm taking small steps forward. I'm leaving this trip with a renewed sense of purpose and a fresh perspective. I'm feeling ready to embrace the new year with a lighter heart and a more hopeful spirit. Thanks so much for coming along with me, and I'll see you guys soon.